All right, and we are back. 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 Welcome. All right, and we are back. And today we're back with another reaction video. And this time we're back with a channel that I haven't seen before. We're going to go ahead and check them out, but I thought this was a really interesting conversation because it's involving my Cleveland Browns, our Cleveland Browns, if you will, if you're a fan of this channel. And it is involving Shedeur Sanders, which is a very hot topic in the sports realm right now. One of the craziest things where the Browns are getting national media attention, and it's about something like this. So always a great day to be a Browns fan. That's called sarcasm, ladies and gentlemen. But we're going to check out this video by Isaac Punts. It's explaining the NFL's first case of mass delusion. And I got to say, I made a video on this, short about this earlier, but like, it really is mass delusion at this point of how people feel, and like their feelings are going like above the facts of, Shedeur Sanders, which I'll repeat this in the beginning. I think Shedeur is a great player. I think he has potential to be a great player, but one, I'm not a fan of rookie quarterbacks starting in the NFL. This isn't college. This isn't like the minor leagues here. This is the pros. Rookies should not be out there unless absolutely needed. You don't see a lot of great rookies just being thrown out there historically. It's just not a thing that historically has happened. I don't think it should be happening. I think you're putting a lot of pressure on these rookies, and it's like starting to build up, and it's like, hey, now you guys don't have the expectations are too high. Not every rookie's going to come out looking like Tom Brady. Tom Brady didn't even look like Tom Brady when he was a rookie because he sat on the bench. So did a lot of great rookies. You go to your freaking Aaron Rodgers sat on the bench behind Brett Favre. Like, come on, bro. Patrick Mahomes sat on the bench. Like, come on, bro. You got to let rookies breathe. But all right, let's go ahead and get into it. Again, if you haven't already, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'm already ranting a lot, so subscribe to the channel. And if you haven't already, the most important thing here is to go ahead and subscribe to our boy Isaac Punts. Go to his channel, check him out, tell him that I sent you, comment down below. Link will be in the description below, ladies and gentlemen. So let's go ahead and get right into this. Okay, one last thing I'll bring up, and I rarely bring this up, so I'll just try to make it quick. That is, if you guys don't like, comment, and subscribe, more importantly, subscribe, YouTube will come through that door right over there, and they will, explaining the NFL's first case of mass delusion.
We are in week 3 of the preseason, and the Browns have just finished up their final drive against the Rams with Tyler Huntley traversing 46 yards and
I remember watching this entire game. I will say, off rip, I did think they probably should have kept Shedeur in for the last 2-minute drive, but at the same time, I will be honest, as a Browns fan, I understand why they did not. It was not a good game for him. Tyler Huntley, last game of the preseason, he's about to get cut. Might as well put some tape on for other teams. Obviously he's been in the league before, but you want to get fresh tape on what people are currently able to do against some people. And if you don't like, it's not good competition, you can't put tape on people like that. He was going against the 3s and the 4s, and the people going to get cut. How's that good tape? He was kind of going against the same people Shedeur was going against, so it's at least okay tape. But yeah, as a Browns fan, I think the Browns were really just trying to win this preseason game, especially at home. It's like a preseason game at home. This is Cleveland. Like, it's 2 seconds left, but a lot of those fans expected us to win. this game today.
Minutes to set up a short chip shot field goal. And while for 31 teams, the end of the preseason is pretty negligible, what was about to happen for the Browns may be some of the biggest, most dramatic overreactions the internet has seen. But to explain how a 5th round quarterback picking up reps,
It's just the craziest thing. You got people on here just making up whole conspiracies about our team. I promise you. And here's the kicker. The Steelers, the Pittsburgh Steelers, have 4 quarterbacks on their roster right now. You haven't heard a lick about that on ESPN. Not a lick. You haven't heard a single person be like, oh, yeah, well, you know, the Steelers have 4 quarterbacks. I wonder what they're going to do with their roster. You could never have 4 quarterbacks. How could you ever have 4 quarterbacks? Nobody ever had that conversation on ESPN. This is crazy because obviously, you know, Deion Sanders, a Hall of Famer, a legend. Shannon Sharp clearly has a bias because who Deion Sanders is.
Offensive line and wide receivers is even a story. We are going to have to go back because there are a lot of factors to this. And speaking of factor, like, are you tired of all the factors that go?
Nice, a little factor ad on us. You know what? I normally try to do the ads, but this is also a crazy pause, so my bad, bro. I ain't mean to pause it on you looking like this. You look like you was in the middle of like scaring like some people on Halloween, like you was just like, yeah, this is the mat. Like, I know, I'm not trying to do that to you, but I normally do the advertisements. I'm gonna see how this goes. I'm gonna let you do that.
Into having a healthy lifestyle, like after you get done working and taking care of the kids and being an awesome dad, you still have to go and cook yourself a meal?
Real? Wait. Do you have to? What if you have a housewife? There you go, and then people start commenting that I'm sexist or something. It's a general statement. You know, some people do still have housewives every once in a while.
Do I have the?
But then, what if you make your regular wife into? This is all jokes, ladies and gentlemen.
Solution for you. Keep it going. Factor. They give you the flexibility to stay active without having to settle for a cheap meal out when time gets a little bit tight.
But do they sell desserts? Do they deliver desserts to you? Because that's the real kicker. You can get the meals, but ladies and gentlemen, if you're not getting the desserts with it, you might still leave some room out there for you to be like, you know what, I'm just about to, you know, going out to eat tonight because, you know, I wanted that cheesecake, you know.
And now they have an expanded menu. So they're not just making accomplishing your goals easy, they're making it delicious. They're adding some
too much cheese. Ladies and gentlemen, here's something about me that some of you may know, some of you don't. I don't like cheese. I'm not a cheese guy. I don't eat cheese. I order things with no cheese, or I get things and remove the cheese from them. So a lot of cheese dishes in here, not a fan.
Awesome flavors to the menu so you can enjoy some fresh, never frozen meals without compromising on them being just so splendid. I know one that I had was their chicken and grits, and oh my god, it actually blew me.
See, they added cheese to it. I couldn't even do it. Does this look good for people? I mean, hey, I think it looks okay, but it's got too much cheese, especially in the U.S. We put too much cheese in things. Let's go on an anti-cheese agenda. Let's start an anti-cheese movement within the United States.
Legitimately, it blew me away. It was delicious.
I know this is random. I know this has nothing to do with the topic, but throwing it out there.
They also have a lineup of smoothies that are gonna.
Hold on now. These smoothies look good. I ain't gonna lie. These smoothies might be the kicker.
Completely knock you out of your socks. And I know recently they just expanded to Asian and Mediterranean meals. And if you want to enjoy some of these awesome meals, well,
okay, you might have just sold me on Factor, because Asian and Mediterranean, whatever he just said, Mediterranean, that usually means that they're not going to be as more cheese centric as some of these U.S. dishes here. So especially the Asian dishes. So let's I might give it a try. I'm also not the biggest seafood guy, but hopefully they have like American Asian dishes, you know. It's just going to be stuff that they don't even sell in China, like sesame chicken or something.
I got something for you too. If you go to factor75.com and use code PuntsFB50, you're going to get, wait for it, 50% off your first order.
Guys, make sure you go to this site. I'm pausing it right now so y'all got time to go to it. But if you can't see it or if I'm blocking it at any point, it's Punts FB50. PUNTSFB50. You get 50% off and free breakfast for a year. All you got to do is go to factor75.com. Use that code again, PUNTSFB50. 50% off and free breakfast for 1 year. Honestly, you can't afford not to do it. It sounds like you might be losing money by not doing this. You thought you had money before? No, you could have got 50% off. Now you got a 100% more debt. How about that?
And free breakfast for not 6 months, not 12 months, but 1 whole year.
Wait, I thought 12 months is a year though. Hold on now.
Wait,
is he getting it for 13 months? Did they add an extra month into the year? Holy crap.
You're going to get free breakfast for an entire year. You heard that right. Go to factor75.com right here. Use code PUNTSFB50 to get 50% off and free breakfast for a whole year. Just do it. Trust me, it's going to make your life so much easier and you're going to thank me later. So to get the full context, let's take you to the end.
Okay, let's back to the sports and stuff, ladies and gentlemen. All the ads are over. We're good. We're getting right into it.
2024 season. The Colorado Buffalo had seemingly completed their transformation under Coach Prime, and if you take away what the media was hyping them up to being, taking this Buffalo squad and giving them a full makeover to go from a bottom of the barrel team to being one lucky break away from actually being in the conference championship while still being able to go bowling, while technically a step down from the apparent playoff run they are supposed to go on, is still a pretty impressive feat nonetheless. But leading this team and making the headlines was none other than standout athlete Travis Hunter, but who was throwing to
That's true. But I gotta say, we give these college teams, and like we give a lot of these teams these higher than, you know, the expectations that are just more than they should have. And then when they don't live up to them, we get disappointed as if they set those expectations for us. We set them for them, and then we get upset when people don't set the expectations that we put on them, versus them saying, hey, this is what we're trying to do. Work with us. Here's our expectations. We automatically just see like, oh, no, but you guys have this guy, and here's my expectations are so much higher now, even though this is a team sport. So, you know, you can have the best individual player and you still not be that great because this is a team sport and it requires the working and interlocking of a whole team to succeed.
You may ask, it's of course the man of this video, Shedeur Sanders. Now, Shedeur at this point was already sort of a controversial figure. He hadn't really done anything wrong, but his detractors would claim he wasn't that good and carried himself with too much confidence for what his apparent draft position really was. And the reality is, those guys
Here's the thing about stuff like this, and people are going to be like, oh, look at him with the chain and everything. Look at, like, what's wrong with having a big chain? Bro is already rich. He was the son of an NFL legend. I think it's cool for him to have a chain. This is where it's going to get crazy for some of y'all, because this is a non-biased take here where I like Shedeur Sanders as a player. I like him as a person, and I enjoy him. I think he's good as a player, but my expectations aren't that high. I never set these crazy expectations for him. I never thought that this guy can go rookie season, throw for 4,000 yards. I never saw it. I'm sorry. Call me crazy, but I never saw this guy scoring, like throwing for 4,000 yards in his rookie season. Probably not even a sophomore season. Maybe in his fourth season in the league, he'll throw for 4,000 yards. Hopefully it's with the Browns. But you know what? I'm not one of those people. Also, like him wearing a chain again, nothing's wrong with this. This is very normal. I actually kind of like the chain. I don't know what the numbers mean, though. He was really thinking he was going to be like the number 2 pick, though, so that was crazy.
For what his apparent draft position really was, and the reality is, those guys didn't watch the tape or his interviews. No, his supporters saw him under a completely different light. He was an underappreciated gem. He had the poise to turn around an inferior team while throwing to nobodies. Just a Heisman winner and a couple of draft pick wide receivers, that's all. Jokes aside, Colorado struggled to establish a ground game. They didn't have a great blocking situation, resulting in Shedeur actually having to carry his offense for the most part in the plays that he wasn't carrying a completely free defensive end on his back. And he did so by extending plays and throwing incredibly accurately, which was shown by his high completion percentage, right? That's all that it can mean, is that he was just an accurate passer. So you may be saying, oh, so the fans are the ones that actually watch the film. Also, no. That was the frustrating part about
Fans don't watch film, ladies and gentlemen. Fans never watch the film. That's why they're fans. It's fan is short for fanatic. That means you're fanatical about this person or this thing. You the regular logic of, well, let me go ahead and watch back their gameplay footage to see how good they are doesn't go into the average fanatic, because they already got their mind made up. All they need is highlights, which is going to just prove what they think is correct. You know, you're not going to watch the whole game. You're just going to watch the highlights on Instagram and be like, oh, they were good. No, you watch the whole game, you'll see like the 30 passes that they didn't get, or like the freaking 10 touchdown opportunities that could have been there if only they were looking. And every quarterback has those, even the best. Patrick Mahomes, you look at his games, you rewatch the games, you'll be like, oh, wow, he got a touchdown there, but there was an easier guy right there he could have got. Oh, wow, there was another guy who was on the short run. You could have just flicked it off to him. That could have been a touchdown too, but you decided to go the more difficult route and it still worked. Yes, even people like that, they still got to double check and look at their reads and all this stuff. They rewatch the gameplay footage. That's how people like Patrick get better, by rewatching the footage. But the fans are not going to do that. This video is going to make me rant a lot about sports, ladies and gentlemen. I just want you guys to, if you don't already know, then now you know.
This whole debate is that his college film fell somewhere very much so in the middle of what both sides believed. When Colorado was in the driving seat and he was getting the ball off on time, he was pretty accurate, even though I think having 3 draftable wide receivers and one of them being a Heisman does make his job a lot easier as a quarterback. But all in all, he didn't always come up in big games, because when things got tough, you could catch him trying to play Superman, where he would hold on to the ball too long looking to extend plays that he probably should have given up on and just thrown it away. But he had enough talent that he should have probably...
And also these scrambles, these scrambles right here, these scrambles can work in college, but I promise you, this guy right here is not getting held that long in the NFL. Number 0 over here is not getting held for this long in the NFL. This breakdown right here gets you sacked by 2 or 3 defenders in the NFL. I'm just saying, I'm a fan. I'm also a fan, but I'm a fan of the team. I'm a fanatic. You think every year I'm like, statistically the Browns will never have a chance? No, I'm a fan. I don't look at the history of the data or that stuff like that for my team specifically. You know, when it comes to like the win-loss records or I believe the Browns are going to make it to the Super Bowl every year. Or at least the playoffs. Okay, I'll be realistic. That was just me being a little, hyperbolic there. I mostly believe they're gonna make it to the playoffs every single year, though. Okay, like, come on. I believe we could be top 2 in the AFC North every freaking year. I believe in that wholeheartedly. That's not even a joke right there. Super Bowl, I did believe it a couple of years. I was like, yo, there's like 2-3 years where I was like, Browns are gonna make it to the Super Bowl. They did not, but this year
he had enough talent that he should have probably gone in the 2nd to 3rd round, and that was before apparently bombing his interviews and not throwing at the combine, which dropped him. So while we'll truly never know what...
I do want to know, what's this about, though, the interview thing? I did hear it was a bad interview. I heard he had some really horrible interviews, but I don't know the details of that. When you're near all the accolade stories about the person, it's not, he's a bad kid, it's so insulated, it's going to be cultural shock when he learns to Rucker operates out. Where's the South Building? What's the offensive game? He probably goes over Well, there's no giving shit about that. No one cares about who your dad is. You're gonna end up fighting through adversity. The plays aren't gonna be called to exactly what you want to run. Even last year, so a lot of the mistakes made himself. Decided to call on the line of scrimmage himself. There's no resource of him or recourse of him making those decisions. Whereas in real locker rooms, you make a couple of those decisions, you get your ass ripped so bad that you never want to do it again. That might not be true. I'm sorry to tell you this, people, but I've seen NFL quarterbacks do things make the same mistake multiple times, and then go out there. I don't know what happened to them in the locker room, but they went out there the next game and did it exactly again. Mister, I want the Browns to lose every game every year. Johnny Manziel over here never read a playbook. Didn't read a playbook game one. Got freaking destroyed. Didn't read a game book the second game, third, fourth, seventh, all the way up into his 7 games that he played in the NFL, and now he hates the team because he didn't read a playbook. It's like some quarterbacks just make mistakes, bro. I don't like this whole article right here. This is really just like, whatever. It's anecdotal stories, whatever
happened in those interviews. We got to see it unfold as in the draft, 5 quarterbacks over the course of 5 rounds went before him, with some head scratchers like Tyler Shuck, Jason Milroe, and most importantly, Dylan Gabriel, who was only a head scratcher because he was drafted in the 3rd round to the same team that would eventually draft Sanders in the 5th. The Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, and I believe that was a Stefanski decision. He is the coach. He wants to have the quarterbacks that he wanted to draft. I don't know if you guys know this, but Stefanski, 2-time coach of the year with the Browns, never got to select his own quarterback before. Wow, it's been like 3-4 years now, and he never got to choose what quarterback he wanted to build up and get to develop. We never even had a chance to really get to develop the quarterback that he wanted because he kept getting people that other people wanted, like the GMs. You get the people that the owner want on the team, and it's like, oh my gosh, I guess we'll sign for Deshaun Watson and give away Baker Mayfield. Even though people like me were always a fan of Baker Mayfield and felt like he should have stayed. I think him and Stefanski could have ended up getting along. Come on, bro.
Now, I know the Browns are known for creating stability at the quarterbacking position and being great place for young shot callers to get.
Bro, don't even do this joke right here. Johnny Manziel is actually trash.
Their bearing, and you can understand why fans of Shador would be mad that there might be somebody above him in the depth chart, as that would seem to break their typical mold of developing young talent into future NFL stars. But believe it or not, they were upset. And
I was about to say, you guys know that injuries wrecked half of these quarterbacks, right? Outside of like Manziel, that was just a bad one. And then there's a reason we had all these quarterbacks. And that's also part of the reason why I was saying don't let rookies start, because then you got people like Deshaun Kaiser on the field. And then it's like, oh my gosh, why does he look so bad? You give people like Brian Hoyer a good chance. Maybe he actually does help us out. He got us to like 7 games, a 7-win season or something. You get people like Anderson another chance. I'm pretty sure he won 7 games. But Brian Hoyer got benched for Manziel. Like half of these people got benched for the other because of things like, I don't know, the media and the fans being like, oh no, the Browns, you have this quarterback, but you should really be looking at this quarterback. And then they put that quarterback in, and then that quarterback starts looking bad. And then they're like, oh, well, Browns, why did you put that quarterback in? I don't know, because the whole NFL media and everybody was saying, oh, why did you start the last quarterback? You should start this quarterback. When we start that one, boom, all of a sudden they flip on us because that's what they do. RG3, outside of how he is now, which is crazy how he is now, the thought of him being on the team was a good idea. And then some of these years we had good offenses but trash defenses. Some of these years we had an incredible defense and then the worst offense possible. It's like the Browns could never win for losing. Like, we tried to do the things properly, and then the things just go completely haywire on us.
From the jump out of training camp, narratives were already starting to form. Pretty much a piece of news wouldn't come out of camp unless it was hyping up Shedeur or bringing down Dylan, which only continued to fuel Shadeur's fans and haters.
And that's another thing, bro. The Dylan hate is actually insane. Like, Dylan Gabriel has not deserved the amount of negative attention he's getting. And people want to be like, "Oh no, he doesn't get any hate, bro." Look on, I barely see, like, literally, how often do you see a good comment about freaking Dylan Gabriel? Like, the only good comments are the ones defending him, saying, "Hey, let's get, like, he deserves what he got, like, he worked for what he got." Those are the best. Those are only glazed type comments you'll get about Dylan Gabriel was, "Hey, why does everybody hate him?" That's about it. Also, shout outs to Channel 5, ABC.
As they both would try to twist the numbers coming out to fit whatever narrative they wanted reality to be. But the truth is, with raw numbers, we have no concept of what drills or plays were being worked. Like, Dylan could have had a bad day while Shedeur was balling, that's true, but maybe they were trying to encourage both quarterbacks to make riskier throws, as seen in the videos where Shedeur was just checking it down and throwing his shorter concepts. Even more importantly, we don't know how many passes by Gabriel were dropped, and it's just raw stats or kind of garbage numbers that will only mean anything to the coaches who know the context behind them. But online, it was just continuing to build the tension. People were going back and forth, narratives were being constructed until the preseason came around and all eyes were turned to week 1 to see how.
Also, here's my thing. Why would Shedeur ever be QB1? Even between, like, him and Gabriel, take that out the picture. He was never going to be QB1 over freaking what's his face. Like, we were always going to start Flacco. That was always going to be the thing. It was really like 2 QB competitions if you think about it. We had a rookie QB competition between Shedeur and Gabriel. The winner of that was only going to get QB2. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner was only going to get QB2. Then they had another QB quarterback competition between Flacco and what's his face. But then they traded old boy, and now it was Flacco guaranteed #1. Flacco was always going to be #1, ladies and gentlemen. We re-signed him for a reason. If you really thought Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel were going up and figuring out whether they were going to beat out Joe Flacco, I'm sorry, but I need to know what deal.
From what I've seen. But when we watched the following game against the Eagles, Gabriel was now at the helm, and it became clear to anybody with 2 brain cells that at the very least, this battle was going to be pretty tight, with it slightly favoring Dylan. He came out faster, he put together a better first drive, and while yes, he threw a pick 6, it was a well-placed pass to a rookie tight end who took his hands back thinking Dylan was trying to throw it past him. As on his 18 passing attempts, he came up with more.
That's actually crazy. Look at this one more time. Look at this. Did he get cut yet? Did he get cut? Because that's one of those things you get cut for. I'm sorry.
Dylan was trying to throw it past him. As on his 18 passing attempts, he came up with more completions and yards than Shedeur did. So now coming into week 3, both quarterbacks had.
Also, when you watch Dylan Gabriel is more poised in the pocket. This is what I was talking about before, like the pocket where you make your money. Gabriel is comfortable in the pocket. He looks like he is ready in that specific area of the game. His throws are pretty sharp. I like his throws. I like his accuracy. Like, the thing that Shedeur has definitely on top of him is outside of the pocket behavior. Like, I feel like Dylan Gabriel will have a harder time getting free from all that. But I do feel like he's at least a little bit quick on his feet. I feel like he has the arm to really throw it out there, even while he's on the run and possibly while he's under pressure. I feel like he can really still throw it and it be relatively accurate. I'm not saying he's going to be the most accurate, but relatively accurate. I do give him that.
Some promise, but a depth chart had to be made, and lo and behold, Gabriel was above Sanders once again. And when the game kicked off, I don't think people were ready for the shitstorm that was about to happen when it finished.
They weren't.
And that was
I wasn't ready.
Getting the start. Gabriel getting the second string reps, Shedeur getting the third string reps, and Huntley getting a fourth quarter drive. Now you may ask, Where is the controversy? What's the problem? And there really shouldn't have been any, except for the fact that Shedeur, in fact, did not have his best game. He got the first 5 drives of the second half, and to be frank, did not look good at all. No. He was indecisive with the ball. He held it for too long, and it cost him drive after drive. And his haters will try to use it to destroy him. Never mind the fact that there were still a lot of positives. Like, he continued to not give up turnovers, and he was able to keep the ball safe. And I think...
So, again, he's got good awareness for the defender and where the defenders are. But this spin move stuff, it's got to stop. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you can do that maybe once a game. The moment you're throwing that out multiple times a game, now they're after you. Now they're going after, and you're not even, and it's like you're not even spinning in a different direction. Like, at least spin in the opposite direction so we can, like, see that you got versatility in it. So the defenders know, okay, he's going to spin to the left. Just make sure you have an extra defender or a freaking a corner or something, or like a linebacker coming over from the left side to get him when he rolls out to the left. Like, come on, bro. We got to make sure you aren't easy to game plan against.
Over the course of his preseason, he looked a lot more agile in the backfield than I think a lot of people.
Show me when he's rolling to his right.
Positives, like he continued to not give up turnovers, and he was able to keep the ball safe. And
boom.
And I think over the course of his preseason, he looked a lot more agile in the backfield than I think a lot of people assumed he was going to. But the ghosts of his past were still clearly going to be a problem, which, if the Browns drafted him, was something that they expected to have to deal with and were trying to fix. So in my opinion, it's really just a non-story.
Now, that was a great play right there. He did put himself in a position where he had to roll out again and put himself in a position where he's about to get sacked. But it was a good play because you see right here, once again, where is he at? What did I talk about earlier? Where's this pocket area at? It's like right here right now. You're all the way back here, but the pocket's right here, and you wonder why you don't have any pocket protection. It's because you're not in the pocket. You got out of the pocket. You can't wonder where your pocket protection is when you leave out of the pocket.
To have to deal with, and we're trying to fix.
Now, that was also a good spin. That was also a good move right there.
In my opinion, it's really just
he came non-story. He actually came back and
expected to have to deal with,
and
we're trying to fix.
He's in a position to throw the ball properly when he gets out of this tackle. Like, he's right now. Look at this right here. He's actually in pretty much the perfect quarterback stance, ready to throw this ball at 36.
Opinion, it's really just a...
Now, 36 should have caught that. I ain't gonna lie. That was really on 36 right there. That was on 36.
Non-story. But on the other side, his supporters were having maybe the cope fest of the century. He's not getting a true shot, they would say, despite the fact that he literally got the better part of an entire game to open up the preseason. Half of his offensive linemen got cut the next day, they would say, despite the fact that even when he had good protection, he would still hold the ball too long.
Like, this is what I'm talking about. How long do you expect to hold the ball as a quarterback? The answer is like less than 3 seconds. I'm sorry to tell you this. If you're holding the ball for like 4, 5, 6 seconds, you are not throwing the ball quick enough.
Despite the fact that even when he had good protection, he would still hold the ball too long and cause problems for them. No one would have done good with the talent on the field, they would say, as Huntley objectively did fine with the talent on the field in the final drive. And it just seemed like no one except a quiet few had any moderate takes, so here it is. Shedeur is a fine quarterback when he's on time and gets the ball out early and not needlessly extending plays. The Browns realized this, so they didn't use a premium pick to bring him in and get him repped as a developing quarterback on the third string with the third stringers. And the Rams game, in my opinion, was a clear case of developmental relapse. Now, the truth is, we all knew Shedeur's worst tendencies got even worse when you feel like he's trying to make a play happen. But because this is week 3 of the preseason and he's probably feeling a lot of pressure to make some magic, we got to see the worst of his tendencies arise, resulting in him going 3 of 6 for 14 yards and taking 5 sacks for 41 yards. But the sheer overreaction by every media outlet, with half the people wanting this 5th rounder cut and the other ones wanting the 5th rounder to get all the reps with the first strings, might be one of the single biggest overreactions from a preseason game in the history of football.
Once again, I have to clarify, Shedeur Sanders will be a great quarterback going forward in the future. But that is not today. The future is not now, ladies and gentlemen. The future is later in the future. But right now, it's like We're in the current state, and in the current state, he's a rookie and he needs a lot of time to develop. He just really needs to develop. I'm sorry. Like, he really does, and he's gonna be good after that. But again, I don't believe in rookie quarterbacks anyway. I don't believe in any rookie quarterback, no matter who they are. You should be on the bench right now, learning under somebody who can give you guidance about playing the quarterback position in the NFL. As an adult, you're not a child anymore. This isn't college anymore. This is the NFL. The things are different. Everybody's bigger, faster, stronger. The things you can get away with in college, you can't get away with in the NFL. You're not throwing to an open receiver in the NFL. You're throwing a receiver open. You're throwing him the ball and getting him open by your throw in the NFL. Not the opposite. Not, oh, I'm just going to throw it out there. Receiver's going to do his thing. No, that works in college when defenders are guys who are going to be insurance salesmen soon. You guys are going against NFL players this is their whole profession right here. Every defender on that team was one of the best defenders on some team that they were a part of throughout their whole lives. Probably all the way up until college and all the way up until they got into the NFL, they were one of the best players on their team. So you're going against a whole team of all of those guys. You can't be making the same thing. You can't be making the same mistakes or making the same decisions you made in college. Like, it's not how this works, ladies and gentlemen. You have got to really focus. Once again, in the NFL, you got to throw the receiver and make him open, throw him open, or look for a actual open receiver. The window for being open in the NFL is a lot smaller than the window for being open in college. But at the same time, you can't just have the receivers do everything themselves because the defenders are so great. So now you got to have the receivers do what they can with your guidance as the quarterback. It's like you got to have like future sight where it's like, hey, if I throw him the ball here, who's going to hit him? Where are they going to be coming from? I got to make sure of that. And also, while I'm doing that, make sure to not get hit by all of these guys trying to chase me. And also make sure I read the right play because there's also 3 other guys that could have got the ball that may have been more or less open. And I got to make sure of that.
Thank you so much for watching. This isn't an advertisement, so just watch a couple seconds more. At Montgomery Central High School, we just got our first varsity win. This is my first win as a coordinator. So I just want to give some shout outs to Boston. Huge strip fumble. Whoa. Okay, on this kickoff, we got the ball back. Big shout out to
hold on.
Huge strip fumble. Okay, on this kickoff,
Bam.
we got the ball back. Boom. Big shout out to Iman making big plays all night, and of course Noah getting this surprise onside kick for us. Guys played their heart out last night. Just want to give some love to him. Thanks for watching.
Hey, shout outs to his team, bro.
Brought to you by NordVPN.
No, we can't be brought to you by NordVPN. We got to be still doing the last video. We can't be on to this one.
We're in week 3 of the preseason, and the Browns have
guys
just finished up their final.
What is happening right now? Guys, this was an incredible video. Again, make sure you all go and subscribe to Isaac Punts YouTube channel. Look at me. Look at this. I just subscribed right there. I'm gonna like the video too. Make sure you do it as well. Make sure you like his video. Make sure you comment on his video. Tell him that I sent you. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. And if you want more of my sports take and sports analysis, like, comment, subscribe to this video, all the fun stuff. We're going to be getting in this football season, so probably going to see more of this. You know I'm a diehard Browns fan, ladies and gentlemen. So this was just the one time where I actually get to indulge in some good old Browns talk. So, wow, now I'm coughing. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, I do want to say if you made it this far, as always, thank you. I love you. Bye.